Here's Victor Wembanyama bringing the ball up the floor. He first uses the screen to slip by his initial defender, and then from there, he puts on a series of dance moves to keep his defender backpedaling. Then, once he got to the painted area, he did a step back and hit a mid-range fadeaway that nobody had a chance of blocking. Yeah, you saw that correctly. There's a 7'4" center acting like he's Uncle Drew out there on the court. I know it's just the preseason, but man, guys, the writings are clearly written on the wall. This season is going to be unlike any seasons we've witnessed before. The tides have turned, the changing of the guards is taking place, and with that being said, let's go over everything the 2024 NBA preseason has taught us so far. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's anything we've learned so far this preseason, it's that the Victor Wembanyama hype was real. I mean, look at this play here.
With Vassell, rocketing down the lane, handing the
Sheesh, guys. That was a one-dribble sky dunk made from outside the restricted area. I'm gonna be honest, guys. After watching the NBA for 2 decades, I've never, ever seen anything like this before. I mean, here's another look at it from a different angle. Oh my goodness, guys. Look at the apex of how high he gets there. I'm sure y'all have never seen anything like that too, right? The person he dunked on was Thomas Bryant, a 6'10" center, and just take a look at his facial expression. You can tell that even he hasn't seen that before. In a year or two, Wembanyama looks like he's going to be a perennial MVP candidate for a long time. And I think it's safe to say that the San Antonio Spurs are in great hands. With the young core they have surrounding Wemby, another dynasty is coming for Greg Popovich and his team. It's not a matter of if anymore, but when. And with that being said, let's move on to something else we've learned. The guards of the NBA are now shifting more than ever. LeBron is now in year 21, Curry is in the latter stages of his prime, Durant as well, so the million-dollar question now becomes, who's going to be the next face of the NBA? Well, just check this out.
Quarter number 1, Minnesota down 4. Uh-oh, Edwards is loose, look out!
Ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw was Anthony Edwards doing a crossover pretty much at the logo, then taking one dribble, beating the entire Knicks defense, and slamming down a ferocious dunk. Ant-Man looks different this year. I mean, last season he was already looking good, averaging nearly 25 points per game on pretty good efficiency, and this year he looks to be taking things to the next level. Like, we already knew he had the athleticism, we already knew he had the attitude, and from what we saw in the FIBA games, we already knew he had it. So, when I say he's taking things to that next level, I'm talking about things like this. Here's Edwards with the ball up top. He plays with his foot a bit before attacking downhill, then does a crossover, then a turnaround, then hits a sweet bang shot for the 2-point bucket. Sheesh, guys. At this point in time, he looks like he has the shiftiness and shot-making ability of a Kyrie Irving with the athleticism of a Dwayne Wade. Couple that in with his confidence and swagger, more than any other young player currently in the league, Edwards looks like he has the best shot of being next in line for representing the NBA. And speaking of representing the league, time to get to my next point. The Warriors are officially back. Just recently, they were able to beat a fully loaded Sacramento Kings team without Steph and without CP3. I mean, we already knew what we were going to get with the vets on this team, but this year, it's Kuminga who's taken that next leap. I mean, just look at this play here. Here's JK on the perimeter. He's being guarded by De'Aaron Fox, the superstar for the Kings, and with one fake, with one dribble, and with one muscle move, he bounced Fox off the court and was able to make his way all the way to the rim for the basket. And just look at how ecstatic Steph and CP3 were on the sidelines. Here's another example. Kuminga's bringing the ball up in transition, and when he sees that the defense isn't quite set yet, he turns on the Jets and blasts by the entire Kings team all the way to the rim. The Warriors are going to be scary, and what's even more frightening about all this is Kuminga still has a ton of room for improvement, especially when he starts playing alongside the point guard. The Warriors have been magnificent this preseason so far. Whether that's their starters or their bench, they look good. And if you ask me, they look poised to make another championship run. But next off, let's now look at the behemoth in the East. So, we were all wondering what the pick and roll of Lillard and Giannis was going to look like, and here it is.
Torian Prince knocking down the three. We're tied again at 53, under a minute to play in this first half.
Sheesh, guys. Lillard looks really good with the Greek Freak. I mean, once Giannis set the pick, Lillard was so fast that Giannis didn't even have time to roll to the rim. Here's another look. Now, this is Bobby Portis setting the pick this time, but if they play any forms of drop coverage at all, Lillard is just going to be having a practice session all day long at the three-point line. Sheesh, guys. The Bucks are going to have arguably the best 1-2 punch we've seen since Shaq and Kobe. I mean, with his quickness and shooting abilities, Lillard is the ultimate pick-and-roll guard. His running mate, Giannis, on the other hand, is the ultimate freight train at getting to the rim. We've only seen a small glimpse of what they could do together so far, but so far, so good. Now, although the Bucks are good, I'm not too sure about the Phoenix Suns and their newly formed Big Three. It's a long 82-game season, and I'm sure that the Suns are going to improve, but so far, their big three of Durant, Booker, and Beal look like a your turn, my turn type of offense. They did well together so far, but knowing NBA basketball, this team has a lot to work on if they hope to beat the elite teams in the league. Can they do it though? Can they actually pull this off? I mean, Booker has never done anything without CP3, Beal has never really done anything period, and Durant, as great as he is sort of a one-man show. I mean, Goran Dragic even said so himself when he was part of the Nets, that the focus of the squad was more on the individuals rather than the team. The Suns have all the talent in the world, but if the preseason has taught us anything so far, it's that this team is nowhere near where it needs to be yet. Next off, let's take a look at one more thing.
We had a relationship for 10 years. Do you think this is something that can be repaired? I mean,
No.
It can? And why? Why is it that? Why do you think
And it's not even, this is not even about this situation, this is in life. Like when you lose trust in someone, you know what I mean? It's like a marriage. Like you lose trust in someone, it's like hot, you know what I mean? So,
I'm sure we all know by now, but the process is officially over. James Harden, the 2018 MVP, already has one foot out the door, and this just isn't good for the organization. I mean, whether or not he gets traded sometime early or mid-season, this is horrible for the chemistry of the team. And honestly, James Harden is looking more and more like the Kardashian of the NBA at this point in time. The Philadelphia 76ers are in trouble, and the million-dollar question at this point is, what does this mean for Joel Embiid? The potential for him to get traded mid-season is there as well, and this is arguably the one factor that could tip the power rankings in the league. I think it's safe to say now that the process has been a complete catastrophe. I mean, this organization tanked for years, got multiple number 1 overall picks and high lottery picks, only to end up here. What a disaster. But hey, what do y'all think about the preseason so far? What impressed you the most? What's the biggest letdown so far? Let me know in the comments down below, and then click on this video next.